Welcome to this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. I'm your host, Dr. Marshall Kamina. Joining me today is Mayor Jack Balch from the very city of Pleasanton where we are hosting this program right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's always an honor to be here.
It's our pleasure. What topics might you like to cover today in Mayor's Choice?
Yeah, so for Mayor's Choice, since the last taping, I just had a few things I wanted to highlight. A couple of really heartwarming things to maybe round out the year. The first is Innovation Tri-Valley hosted the Dream Makers event. This is our high schoolers who do amazing things, students from all over the Tri-Valley. That just really shows you how the future is bright. Some of our students in our Tri-Valley are just brilliant. So that's always a heartwarming thing. One of my favorite things to tout recently is Pleasanton was just named the cleanest city in California, based on a lot of metrics, but even including wastewater management and things like that. But Pleasanton was the only California city on the list. So that was pretty nice. Cleanest city in California. The next I'll mention is our downtown is hopping, and I hope our residents will have a chance to visit during the holiday season. I would recommend that you start off with our newly built Lions Wayside Bandstand. It is lit up for the holidays. Our city staff did it with a little bit of the dollars we had left over, and just an amazing display. And then go down to the downtown and you'll see the windows and storefronts of our vacant units are decorated this year. And that was a partnership between our Pleasanton Downtown Association and our Pleasanton Art League. Volunteers came together, they decorated several buildings, tried to beautify that. And then I'll talk about hometown holidays in a minute, but that was a rounding success for Pleasanton. And then just a little bit to round us out, I was able to attend Boy Scouts Eagle Court of Honor. Not my first one, but my first one with 7 Eagle Scout promotions. So that is a pretty sizable number, showing true dedication to community and a lot of elements there. And I've also attended several Girl Scout ones in the past as well. And so it's just really nice to see our youth stepping up. And then maybe just a personal element is yesterday, before we're taping this, I completed my first year sworn in as the Mayor of Pleasanton. So it's a personal honor to serve and appreciate the opportunity. So thank you.
So it's been a whole year.
It's been a whole year.
Well, we here
it's gone fast. Yeah.
The day by day may have been a little bit slower.
Exactly.
Well, we here at TV 30 follow your public life, and you're a very, very busy person.
Yeah.
Some might say you even have a charmed life. For example, this year's parade had a great turnout, no rain. I don't know how you can pull that off. Maybe you could tell us about it.
I think Santa tuned it in for both us and Livermore. I know they have their sights and sound the same day. So our hometown holiday parade and tree lighting by far is one of Pleasanton's signature traditions. It was held on December 6th. As you said, no rain, although this cold snap, even now, is still sticking with us, and I think it kind of came in on that day, so it was a bit cold, scarves required. This is a couple of different things I want to touch on. This is the first year Pleasanton charged a small entry fee, $75 for the parade, and we did that because we had a lot of people, a lot of entrants back out at the last minute, and it really created a lot of gaps in the programming and staff. And so, we've had fiscal challenges and a little bit of a wobble this year, but there was this modest $75 fee per group to enter. And what that presented to us was really a beautiful parade, dedicated residents who wanted to be in it. So we had 68 entries, 2,000 participants in the parade. The city staff estimates attendance around 7,500 people, 7,000 to 8,000. Santa said 13,000, but who knows what his perspective on the event was. But it really filled the downtown. And like I was mentioning at the top of the minute, between the work that so many different groups have done for beautifying our downtown, the Pleasanton Art League, Pleasanton Downtown Association, our local retailers are having a competition for the brightest holiday display with some minor prize money that we've put into the pot. Our Lions Wayside Bandstand is lit up. Our old and dying trees were removed in time, and we're going to be replanting new trees in January. So our downtown is just starting to look really gorgeous, and I think a lot of our residents saw that. We were joined on the, as always, by Santa and Miss Claus, who spent time with the children and adults alike, children at heart. The tree lighting went off without a success. The power went on, the lights went on. So for my first time doing it, you know, a lot of things went right, I guess I'll say. But I do want to just also big shout out to everyone involved to make it happen. You know, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. City staff, volunteers, police, fire along the parade route and after. And they just made sure everything ran smoothly. They're telling me we had 68, 67 volunteers and assisting in different things. And they've got a whole committee, and they do a post-mortem where they'll figure out recommendations on how to make it better next year. But just a great event, and with our downtown really starting to stand up and show its beauty. So I couldn't be more proud.
And indeed you should be.
Yeah.
Which leads me to ask you the next question. Could you give us a review of some of the significant accomplishments of the city of Pleasanton during your reign in 2025?
Yeah. Yeah, so if we look, as we're recording the end here, we look back, I've got actually a little bit of a laundry list.
I noticed it's only 10 pages.
Yeah, it's only 10 pages. But you know, I really want to acknowledge, maybe I'll say that, you know, every time a new council is sat for any of our municipalities, it does give an opportunity and expectations. And I'm hopeful that we've at least met some of the residents' expectations. I hope the expectations are reasonable. But you know, public safety continues to be a principal priority of this council, as it has been for many councils past. So as we look back at 2025, you know, we really are looking at what is improving the quality of life for our residents, our businesses to be successful here, those types of real world deliverables. So I have a bit of a list. You know, at the beginning of the year, residents may remember that we went through a budget advisory process. We needed to look at how we're going to trim and address the rising inflationary costs.
No easy task, was it?
No easy task. And, you know, we took a different approach. It had some various degrees of success and opportunities for improvement. But I want residents to kind of remember that took almost 5 to 6 months of your council's time. And what we really did was get a community advisory group, like I mentioned. They gave recommendations, the city council gave recommendations, and we did curtail spending and get to a point where we have a balanced budget that really still preserves what I think makes Pleasanton a gem. And then with that, we also focused on a lot of other things to plan and invest for our future. And our water management plan, by far, I think is one of the ones that residents will really should take pride in. You know, we started looking at every pipe, every age of every pump, every connection, and all of it, because we need to deliver reliable, high quality drinking water at an affordable price. And I understand the rate increases are not what anyone wants to see, nor I, but we also are trying to get to a point where we will be getting into just the CPI increases versus this backlog of repairs and other issues we're trying to face. So financial stability of the fund, as well as addressing legal challenges. So that took, according to my notes, we spent about 7 meetings on the water system itself. And then as we kind of move through, and I don't want to bore our viewers here, but you know, I want to just, again, the Lions Wayside Bandstand itself, the park, came in significantly under budget. I should think that our community should be very proud of that. The extra dollars we used to open the parking lot that's kind of between it and the Firehouse Arts Center, and providing 24 more public parking spaces downtown, and really kind of cleaning up that lot that had sat basically as a dirt lot for years since we acquired the building.
Right, since you were born.
Yeah, quite a long time. When I talked about public safety at the beginning, you know, during the middle part of this year, the city council moved forward with a flock camera system for license plate readers. residents may know we had license plate readers more near the mall area, but not at every entrance and exit to town. And as a result of that, we had some gaps, right? These are higher definition, higher quality cameras so that we can get that information and continue to investigate and keep our residents safe. And then as we kind of move a little further, in my State of the City, I talked about innovation-based zoning, and we did that. We passed zoning and streamlining for innovation-based businesses. Those are robotics, life sciences, and things like that, so that they will be able to locate here, creating fertile ground for them. And then just recently in December, the City Council passed streamlining permitting processes for residents. So some of the minor, non-impactful permits that residents need now don't have to go through a full planning commission and council process for pretty minor things. And I think the residents will really feel that and see that streamlining. If you're not familiar with the permitting process, it can be daunting. And so this is really making it a very simple A to B process, and we hope that the impacts will be lasting. I got a lot more, but I'm going to just end with the best thing ever, which is Cook Seafood opened up in May of this year. So of all the things that I can say I accomplished, but I actually had no hand in doing, Cook Seafood might be the top of the list. So
We were just there last week.
Well, there you go.
I waited 19 years to do that.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know how long it was under construction, but by far Cook Seafood opened up. So I'll end with that high note of 2025.
Thank you. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton in just a moment. Welcome back to this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. We are here talking with Mayor Jack Balch from the City of Pleasanton. Looking forward to 2026, we've noted that Pleasanton has had many changes in 2025, as we spoke about earlier. What do you see on the horizon for this next year?
Yeah, thank you very much for asking. I'm excited about what 2026 will bring. We were just talking about the accomplishments of 2025, and a couple of the ones that I think will really carry us forward in 26 to really excel further is the innovation-based business zoning that I just mentioned, as well as the streamlining zoning that we've done for our residents and small businesses. Those will provide the groundwork for really providing a sign that Pleasanton is open for business. So that is one major thing that I think will advance us. The other that I think is really going to come out in 2026 is as we continue to do the water asset management plan, the water plan. We have an asset management plan that we just heard as a council recently, and then we have a sewer and storm drain master plan underway, each of those separately. And so when Pleasanton is looking forward to how do we sustain these operations? We're over 130 years old, so we need to make sure that this lasts a lot longer. I want the city to be around at least another 130 years. So how we do the future capital improvements, how we do it wisely when resources are always constrained, really will matter. We know we have some needs. Fire Station 2 needs a little bit of attention, as well as our main civic center area. But again, how do we best plan for Pleasanton's future, keeping the infrastructure strong and going forward? I do know on the horizon as well for us, we're looking at cell phone regulations in our community. We know we have a lot of dead areas that need some attention, and modernizing just how we continue to do business and provide for business. And again, going right back to innovation-based business zoning as well as the streamlining. The other bit is residents may know we combined a couple of departments of our planning and economic development department into one department, giving more resources to the economic development team. So I am aware of a lot of efforts they're doing to attract and retain businesses in our downtown. And so I'm really looking forward to trying to now exercise some work in that area. I know our mall area continues to be an area that we're focused on as we want to see it redevelop. And then I'll just say for our residents, housing continues to be either something you like or don't like. And our residents seem split every day. But overall, we're working to be compliant with state law on the housing element, which provides for housing in our community. And how do we, as your council, continue to have it fit into our community? How do we have it continue to look like Pleasanton so that we don't just have the cookie cutter that maybe has been in other municipalities? And so that will, I think, continue to be a focus of this council. I don't think it ever really goes away or abates. But we know that BART is looking at potentially developing the BART site. We know on the west side we have the Lester property, which is looking forward, and we know we have the east side there. And all of this and how we bring those online in 2026 will have impacts on our community. And the key is to not lose our common values and our common Pleasanton, right? And what that means for our residents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When January 1st rolls around, and we've had this talk from time to time, you're going to have public meetings because there's probably going to be some new water rates. And I wonder if you give us a brief summary and where the residents can go if they have questions.
Yeah, thank you very much for this. So water rates overall continue to be something that we are very, very sensitive on. As a council, as a resident, I understand it. And we are part of the State Water Project. And that project overall, transporting water, as you know, from Lake Oroville and through the Delta conveyance system, really is needing infrastructure improvements. And we're part of that just by the nature of getting our supply principally from there. So as we in Pleasanton look at what we're doing, we really, as I just said, did a water management plan. We looked at, again, every pump, every well, and that's just to get the water from our source, which is Zone 7, to us,
Exactly.
distributed throughout our community, because that is our responsibility as the city of Pleasanton. So how do we get it from the turnouts, which is where Zone 7 supplies the water, to your home? And as a result of that, and as a result of hearing public comment in the past, the city council through this whole year has, as I said earlier, meant 7 times for the water rate work that we were doing. There was a citizens advisory committee that reviewed the work, reviewed the capital improvements. We had a day at the Veterans Hall where we had all of our water department come together and talk about the issues they see. And then we went through a rate setting process and discount program and seeing what we could afford as a city. But from that, some of the recommendations had water rates increases at 24%, 24%, year 1, 2, and then 7 and 7, 3, 4. The council, working with staff, was able to plan for a little bit of debt that will bond through the water and get those rates down to what was ultimately adopted, which is the 15, 15, 8, and 8. And again, I know those aren't the goals of what we have for affordability, but it does provide for the long-term infrastructure and upkeep of our water system and addressing some of our deferred maintenance needs that we have, or issues that we have. The other part, as I talked about previously for your viewers, there were 2 major challenges with water rates this year. The first was we have the fixed cost at Zone 7 and how we are going to address that. That goes into the minute you use the first gallon of water, you owe the full amount, right? Mm-hmm. And so how do you equitably and fairly distribute that throughout the community and the ultimate usage of water? And then the second is that there's a legal challenge that because we only have Zone 7 as a source right now, we had to abolish our tiers or collapse them into one tier. So a gallon of water costs a gallon of water, no matter if you use 5 gallons or 5,000 gallons. And so that really altered a lot of the historical knowledge that our residents have about how we priced our water in town, where consumption was a factor. And we really tried to be really transparent with that and make sure our residents understood, which is why there were 7 meetings about it. To that end, residents can go right on the city's main website page. Water and water rates is right there as a banner it goes across. But otherwise, they can visit pleasantonwater.com. There's a rate calculator. You can plug in your current bill, see what your anticipated bill is. I do want to mention that for most of our residents, they should be expecting roughly $20 to $40 on their bi-monthly bill as an increase from all of it. but it does provide for the long-term sustainability of our water system, and I think that's paramount to us. So.
It's been quite some time to get to this point, and I
It
think
has.
you've had quite a success at it.
Yeah, and I'll just maybe tie in, my goal is that in those outlying years 4, 5, 6, and beyond, that we're getting really back down to expected increases, more in line with inflation and CPI. And so I think we know and remember the 30 and the 14 we had. It was my goal to get that back down. But again, after using our citizens group of residents, and they helped review and audit the work done by staff related to the condition of our water system, that's where it really became apparent that we need to do a little bit of work now for our long-term sustainability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, December has been designated Impaired Driving Month. And do you have any statistics on this impaired driving in Pleasanton this last year? And how has the city and the police department, how they go together and support?
Yeah, Impaired Driving Month is to raise awareness. We bring it up now, but I'll just encourage you throughout the year to be very careful, right? Make sure if you're going to drink, you do not drive, and you set up either ride share or designated driver. For Pleasanton, this past year of 2025, we had 116 DUIs, which is a pretty significant number. When they passed it to me, I was well, frankly, I guess I should say appalled, right? I mean, that is risking not only your own self, but anyone else on the road or in there. But in addition, in December 2025, Pleasanton Police Department Traffic Unit did do a DUI sobriety checkpoint on Santa Rita Road. It was well published online, and 1,300 drivers were screened, resulting in 6 DUI arrests, 21 citations for unlicensed or suspended drivers, and 1 arrest tied to an outstanding hit-and-run warrant. The checkpoint was funded in cooperation with the CHP through the CHP Cannabis Tax Fund grant, and that just reflects the partnerships we have with the CHP. But again, all of that is too much when there could be pedestrians or bicyclists on the roadway, let alone other drivers. So again, I just want to say, plan ahead, get a designated driver, keep Pleasanton's roads safe for everyone. So yeah. And be safe. So that's what Impaired Driving Month is supposed to raise awareness of.
Thank you. Always so full of wonderful information. I think perhaps we have time to ask you the question with regard to what's the proper way to dispose of trees after the holidays in Pleasanton?
Yeah, do not burn your Christmas tree. I know we joke about that, but by the time they get to the end of the holiday season, if you've got a live Christmas tree, it's probably extremely dehydrated and ready to be kindling. So be careful. Be safe. But there's 2 main ways in Pleasanton to get rid of it if you don't want to haul it off yourself. The first is that the Boy Scouts of Pleasanton, Troop 941, will pick up trees from Pleasanton residents on Saturday, January 3rd. All the lights and decorations will all have to be removed from the tree. Don't put the tree out on your curb fully lit up and with presents under it. So that's the first one. And then the second one is that through our contract with Pleasanton Garbage Service, residents can place their clean tree at the curb during their regular collection, January 5th through 9th. And I just want to mention that for Pleasanton Garbage Service, you do have to have it cut into 4-foot chunks, and obviously no decorations, base, or stand attached. But those are 2 easy ways to do it. Or otherwise, you can transport it yourself to the Pleasanton Garbage Service transfer station. Again, clean. No
We've got time
tinsel.
for just one little brief question. Can you mention one upcoming event you'd like to just highlight?
I will highlight Make a Difference Festival. It's the Saturday of Martin Luther King weekend, as people may know in Pleasanton. I'm trying to remember the date. I think it's February 17th offhand. But I say this because it brings together all of our nonprofits as a volunteering opportunity for us. And so you come together, Martin Luther King weekend, so I apologize, I'm trying to remember the date, but it brings together all the nonprofits, and they are looking for volunteers. And if you want to think about something to fill the cup in service to others, this is a way to find your calling to do that. And just wonderful people coming together to talk about how to help others. Just warms my heart to do it. So that's what I would say is the one event to plan on. Although I got probably 15 between now and then.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for being here today. And thank you for watching this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. Join us for the next episode of Mayor's Report right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Dr. Marshall Camina, and I thank you for joining us.